Good evening. We'd like to begin our meeting this evening with the pledge to the flag, please. Pardon me, I should have said our August meeting for those out in TV land. You might know which meeting they're looking at tonight, but it is our August meeting. Okay, everybody's had, excuse me, chance to look over the minutes and operating statements from July. I'd like to have a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve, this says May, is that correct? May operating statements? No. July?
Yeah.
Okay. Make a motion that we approve July operating statements, July 22nd, 2024 council meeting minutes, August 12th, 2024 work session minutes, and Quantum's financial statements for July 2024.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Noes, motion's carried. Okay, next on our agenda, we'll have Carrie Kruger. Carrie, if you'll come up and give us a report, that way you don't have to stay here all evening if you don't like to, but we'll let you go.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Town Council members. I hope you're all doing well tonight. There are a couple printouts in your packet that I will speak to. One is just a summary of what has been completed so far. The other, this is actually the schedule provided by the contractor. So just to try to keep on track of the project, I put one check mark next to those areas or streets where the valve bonnet bolts have actually been replaced. And then the second check mark are those where they've actually been final paved. So you may notice around town, especially on the east side, there's quite a few that still have the cold patch on it. That's not final pavement. They are planning on coming back this Thursday to do some more paving. I don't think they're going to get all of them that they've cold patched, but at least they're going to do it again this Thursday. So the number of valve bolts replaced, including today, which were 5 additional, there's 59 out of 111. And then 11 have been completed with the final paving. And found in the field, some of the valves are pretty old. One of them was, it's a minor leak, but it is leaking. So that needs to be replaced, and I've been working closely with Mike Zeckman on these types of decisions. And the other one is just so old, the valve box is like stuck to it, so he said to just replace that. And then there were some other valves. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a typo here. The valves that were added, I'm sorry, these were actually added by Mike Zeckman, not actually found in the field to be faulty. The 2 found in the field were the ones that I just mentioned. The 3 that are in item number 4, they were actually, I'm sorry. I must be a little nervous, probably because I'm on TV. I'm sorry, these are the valves that were added. Like there were 2 valve pits. When they did the excavation, they actually found 2 boxes. So they were valves that nobody in the town actually knew that they were there. And so Mike Zeckman actually said to go ahead and add them. Another one was near Elgar and Farquhar, where it keeps going over to the rail yard. There was one that was X'd out in black, and he added that one. So 3 additional ones were added. And there is a change order number 1 provided by the contractor. There are 5 items in the change order. 3 of those are valve replacements. 2 are replacing the valve with just a plain stick of pipe. And then we have told the contractor that we do expect to see a credit because in their original bid, they included landfill tipping fees but all of the excavated material is getting put onto town-owned land. And so there are no more tipping fees. So we expect to see that in the change order. We've already reviewed it twice, went back and forth 2 times. I talked to the contractor project manager today, and he said we should be receiving a revised change order sometime the next week.
Okay.
Tomorrow, we're meeting with MDOT, State Highway Association on Main Street at 2 o'clock to talk about the work on the valves on Main Street and what MDOT may require as far as length of milling and repaving, if they even do require such a length. We'll find out. I've verbally been told they may require a certain length along Main Street for any excavated area, but that's not in either permit that we received from them. So we will see what they try to require. And then the contractor said that they will start working on Main Street the 3rd of September.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry for that fumble there.
That's okay. Great. It's great. Thank you. Well, any patchwork they do on Main Street will be a lot better on 75 than New Windsor that the state highway done.
Just to keep that all in mind, there is a change order, and if we could vote to allow me and Perry, or however you want to do it, but that we could approve the change order without coming back to the council in the interest of time, if we could do that.
Yeah, I'd like to have a motion to let Brett make the change orders, because he works with us. Brett's the water and sewer guy. He's working with him, so.
And I can't do anything Dawn won't let me do anyhow.
Right. That's right.
So if we don't have the money, we won't approve a change order, but just in the interest of time, because they're here, and we may not have time to wait till we come back.
So we'd like to have a motion to approve Brett or myself to sign for change orders if necessary.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we assign Brett or Perry to do change orders for the valve bond replacement.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those, okay. That's approved. Okay, thank you, Brett.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll go down to my report. First thing on my agenda, Logan Grossnickel is on our planning and zoning. He has to be reappointed. He has accepted, he would like to stay on planning and zoning, so we need a motion to reappoint Logan to planning and zoning.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Logan Grossnickel to serve on Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Noes? Thank you. Motion's carried. Okay.
Brett, can you just say that you're excusing yourself?
Excusing I didn't vote.
Yeah.
He's my son. So I don't know that matters in this case.
Yeah.
but
Just in case anybody has a
just in
question.
case,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the next thing we have is a resolution from the state. It's called the Maryland 250. It's a resolution going around comes from the governor's office, or they're sending to the governor, like all the municipalities, because they're going to do a Maryland 250 commission executive order, and it's going around and like all the municipalities to sign a resolution to that. I don't see a problem with it. If anybody would like to hear the whole resolution, we can read it, but it's going to be something statewide for everybody. I think it's a good thing. So if there's no further questions on that, I guess we need a motion to adopt this resolution and send it back into them, and this would require all of the mayor and all the council members' signatures on this. So it's just not me.
I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution Maryland 250 in observance of the 250th anniversary of the founding of our nation.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Heard any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those motion's carried. So we're get that signed and. Okay. MML had a webinar today. It was called a luncheon. It was from noon to 1, and I only got part of it because then I had to go on a call. But it was for the legislative priorities for this year. Mayor O'Connor, MML president, decided to do a webinar today at noon. It was a luncheon thing, and they discussed the legislative priorities for MML this year. Sorry, I do not have a copy of it all because I said it on the meeting and then I had to leave because I had an emergency call I had to go on. So I did not get that report, but we should have it, well, we will have it come our MML meeting that we have next month down in Hampstead. So we'll have a report on that. And I have the date from the Union Bridge Fire Company, October the 2nd. It's on a Wednesday for our drug awareness program. We had to get it approved, and the young lady went to the fire company meeting, and the fire company is going to give us the building for free that day for that. And I think the ladies are talking about even maybe doing some hamburgers or hot dogs or whatever they're going to do, some refreshments that day. So we can go ahead and start working on letting all the people that are involved in this situation that day and this program, that is our date. So their fire company's getting pretty busy this fall with activities, so just the date that we have, so we're going to have to make it work, and I think it will. I think it's going to be a very good program that day. And that is about all I have other than my other report that Dawn will be getting, and Mandy's up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I'd like to apologize for last month. I looked at the agenda and had that date in my calendar, so I do apologize for missing last. So, because we were going to do this last month, we have the election procedure changes, and we have resolution 02-2024, 03-2024, and 04-2024. 02 is the residency requirement for council, and 03-2024 is the requirement for mayor, which has changed from 1 to 2 years. And it says the mayor must have maintained, let's start with the council. Councilmen shall have maintained a continuous occupancy of a primary residence in the town of Union Bridge for at least 2 years immediately preceding their election and shall be qualified voters of the town. The mayor must have maintained continuous occupancy of a primary residence in the town of Union Bridge for at least 2 years immediately preceding his election and must be a qualified voter. So those are the changes. The resolution does start that to provide reasonable and appropriate representation of the town and its affairs, the mayor and town council of the town of Union Bridge deem it necessary and appropriate to amend certain residency requirements for the council and then also for the mayor. And that is authorized by the Constitution of Maryland and local government article of the Maryland Annotated Code. It allows for municipal charter amendments by resolution. And each of these, because pursuant to the local government article, you have to do a single charter amendment per resolution. 04-2024, this is for the uncontested elections, whereas the mayor and town council of the town of Union Bridge have found that given the cost of conducting elections and the time commitment required of town staff and volunteers, it is in the best interest of the town of Union Bridge to amend its charter so that an election will not be required if the number of duly qualified candidates for an office is equal to or less than the number of vacancies, which has been added to section 2031, where it states there's elections, so I added a B that whereas A is on the second Tuesday in May, and every second odd number year, the qualified voters of the town shall elect one person as mayor and 2 or 3, as the case may be, persons as councilmen to serve for the terms of 4 years. B, if on the day immediately following the deadline for filing certificates of nomination in accordance with section 2030 of this charter, the number of duly qualified candidates for the office is equal to or less than a number of vacancies for such office, then no election shall be held for such office. Meaning that 4 weeks prior to the election, if the nominations isn't filed, then if there's only one person for mayor or there's only a certain number for the councilman, there's no need to conduct an election that year.
And that's to save the town that little, well, it's not little anymore, but save the money for having an election when there's no candidates other than incumbents or whatever.
Uncontested,
Yeah,
yes.
Uncontested.
Nope,
No.
because that doesn't,
Yeah.
the town is not required, municipalities are not required to have vote-ins, or write-ins. So if somebody wants, I mean, somebody could write in Mickey Mouse and you could just take that and say, okay, great. But no, at that point, 4 weeks prior to, according to section 2030, that if there hasn't been the nomination packet received, then there's no need to hold the election if it's not contested.
Okay.
So this is the introduction. So next month will be the, that will be held for the public meeting. And this will be advertised twice in 21 days prior to. At that point, once we have next month's meeting, then it is held for 40 days. It has to be advertised 4 times each week. And then if nobody contests it, which that's called a referendum, then upon the 50th day, this will become part of the new charter. It's a
Okay.
process.
Yes, it is.
But it'll be completed prior
Right.
to the election.
Okay.
The public hearing is going to be next month.
Next meeting.
Yep, September,
So we'll have
23rd, that's
we'll
the
have
right
the
date,
public
right? Mm-hmm.
hearing, we'll have the public hearing at 7 o'clock after we open our meeting.
Correct.
If anybody wants to come for the public hearing, and we'll have a public hearing, and then we'll go into our regular meeting after that.
yes. Oh, and then we will take it, I will go ahead and get these advertised for the public hearing,
Okay?
okay? That is it for the election procedure changes. Next is, we had, or the town had, an inquiry as far as a cannabis dispensary that came in for the restricted industrial district of the town. I did discuss this with the planning and zoning. Apparently, I think this has been numerous inquiries from what I gather. And it is my opinion and advice to the town that if this is something that the town would like to consider, that it needs to be articulated in the code. Because right now, it is not articulated.
Okay.
And I believe just as the brewery wasn't in there before, is that John and the town and everybody came together to include that. So if it's something that the town thinks that, you know, they would want to do that, we would need to amend the code to provide for that. The state law on this essentially says that you shouldn't prohibit setting up zoning requirements or restrictions that would unduly burden cannabis businesses. But it doesn't necessarily say that you have, like a town or municipality has to have dispensaries in it or have something in the code that requires dispensaries to be in there. There are a lot of restrictions with the state also as far as finding a place for a dispensary. And there's dispensaries and there's also the cultivation aspect of this. And I spoke to planning and zoning, and I don't believe, from what I have gathered, that there is really any place in the town right now that could be a place that they could cultivate cannabis. But dispensary could be something else. But again, they would have to sign a lease, whomever this is, and they would have to go through the state requirements. So it wouldn't be just on the town for these requirements. There are a lot of state requirements that you have to go through. The electric has to be typically updated in a lot of these places. The security for them have to be updated. So it's, you know, and we wouldn't have to go into that. As far as the code, it would just be allowing it. And then if somebody wanted to come in and open a dispensary, they would have the ability to, but then the town could kind of pull their hands back and say, well, you have to follow all the restrictions of the state as well. So I just wanted to put that out there, that if it's something that the town would like to look into more, get more information, we can certainly do that. I can play around with some wording with the code and bring that, to the town so that we can take a look at that and, see if we can mold it to what the town would like it to say.
Do you know if there are any restrictions in regard to proximity of schools?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are, you are allowed to have those restrictions.
Okay. And I didn't know if there already was through the state.
There's
Or-
not.
Okay.
But that's something that you can put in there. They have the local government pursuant to the state, the local governments can prevent and prohibit dispensaries within, I think it's a 500 feet for schools, daycares, libraries, and playgrounds, I think. But one of the examples, when I was looking into this, they said, local governments can't try and set up a library and have like a little store and say, oh, you can't, those are the restrictions that are considered undue and unreasonable, which they don't want that. So you can't just pop up a library and say, oh, this is a library, so you can't have a dispensary here. But you can make those restrictions, but they're saying about 500 feet is
Okay.
where,
Well, I think we should probably have something in our zoning ready for it, just in case. I mean, it's happening everywhere else.
It is.
I know it was a lot of discussion in Maryland Municipal League the last couple of years about it, and the taxes that some of the communities are getting from it and everything. So it's probably something we probably should take care of before we have a lot of inquiries about it. So if you don't mind. giving
Absolutely.
Some information for us. What do you guys think? It's probably
Will do.
Yeah, that's
to our benefit to be ready for whenever it happens.
Okay, will do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And that's everything for me.
Okay. Kevin McGinnis, you're up.
Always have the fun part of following the attorney, which makes me feel simple. Maybe I am.
We all are.
All right, well, we got 3 reports this month in town, which is not a huge number, but there's some pretty detailed ones here. So I'll walk you through those real quick. Between July 22nd and August 26, 2024, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office responded to 31 calls for service within the town of Union Bridge. Out of those calls for service, 3 were found to be reportable. On 8/2/24 at 11:08 p.m., a destruction of property was reported in the 30 block of North Main Street. Patrons of the establishment had an argument which was domestic related. Upon leaving, one of the individuals entered their vehicle and observed it to be driving strange. Ultimately, they pulled over. It was determined that the vehicle's tires were slashed by the alleged other party, and the victim was referred to the commissioner's office for charges. On 8/23/24 at 11:57 a.m., a report of a counterfeit bill was completed on West Broadway Street. Cashier's check was completed at the complainant's business, resulting in the recipient alleging that they received a counterfeit $100 bill. This bill was allegedly refused at the Walmart in Westminster. Still uncertain whether the bill was passed at the store or the recipient was attempting to bank an extra $100. That case is still open. On 8/23/24 at 7:59 p.m., a first-degree assault was reported in the 50 block of North Main Street. Patrons of the establishment had a disagreement over an employment opportunity. One of the parties felt disrespected and assaulted the other by grabbing his neck. The other party made multiple closed fist strikes, and resulting in the initial person to fall to the ground and strike his head and become unconscious. That party was ultimately sent to shock trauma center via medevac, and the other party was arrested. This case is still open with consultation from the state's attorney's office for amendments and dispositions of the charges. That's all I have to add for the initial reporting here. I will just add that we've had some juvenile break-ins in the surrounding areas and things of that nature. Up in New Windsor, there's been a few, and as well as Kemar and out in the Tawnytown area, there's kind of a strand of minor break-ins that have been happening. Not a lot of damage to property, not a lot of things stolen. However, there's a group of kids, I can't state names or anything, but there's a group of kids that are into mischievous things. I've warned some of the business owners in town about these issues, because they are trying to target establishments that sell alcohol, it seems. So I've warned them and tried to take more proactive approach to keeping an eye on those places. But just to let you guys know, they do normally travel on their bicycles in the middle of the night. So if you see a juvenile or a pack of 3 or 4 juveniles riding around on their bikes in the middle of the night, it's probably not a good thing. They've been charged with several burglaries and other things of that nature. So just wanted to give a heads up to everybody about that. Again, the mobile or the crisis helpline is 410-952-9552. The Carroll County Mobile Crisis Team is open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. And 988 can be called for immediate emotional support. Simply dial it, and you'll be in touch with a counselor that can help. I just wanted to add that.
If you see these juveniles, just keep an eye on them and ride around them a couple of times. A lot of times they'll break themselves up when they see, if you ride by them a couple of times and they actually know that you're taking notice of them. A lot of times they'll disband, but, and if you want to go by them, like I said last month, you have your cell phone with you, take a picture of them and the location they are, and it helps us a lot in case they do anything, we know who they are.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, public comments and concerns. Anybody?
I saw it going.
I'm magnetic. I got a letter from, I guess, you guys, about my, property on at my bar. And, actually, I guess I need some clarification because first of all, in that letter, it said, I'm blocking, a street, I can't remember the name of that street. But that's not a street. As far as I know, and when I bought my property and had a survey, my property goes, that is an easement for my neighbor. He has a 3-foot easement. It's not the street. And I've been here for 11 years, and no one from this town, the state, or the county has ever taken care of that side. It's all gravel. It's not asphalt. When you come down East Elder, you take a left. That's Wareheim, I guess. When you take a right, that's my property. So I need some kind of clarification where the town believes that is Wareheim. So how do I go about doing that?
It's our map showed that it's actually called a continuous of Wareheim all the way to the railroad track.
Okay, but so I need that marked.
Okay.
I need that to
The
be
other
marked by
gentleman that-
somebody because nobody's ever.
The other gentleman that just bought that other property, he's got his fence, and he had his surveyed and
Correct.
marked. And that's the reason why he was able to put his fence here, because he had to get a permit for his
Correct.
fence. So from the fence over, if I'm not mistaken, is what, I didn't see the letters, like 10-foot right-of-way or 8-foot right-of-way that goes through there to the railroad track.
I didn't bring it over. If
but-
you hold one, I can go get it.
Yeah. But it's like a.
Now, is this, where do I find the legal, the
Okay.
legal definition? I don't want somebody to just say it's an
Right.
alley. I need the legal.
Right.
And if it is,
Mandy?
it's never maintained, so I need someone to start maintaining that. Like in the winter, plow the snow, put the salt on. I've been here 11 years and nobody's ever done it.
Right. And it's unfortunate that we have several places like that. You have it, Mandy, or?
I do, but we did not, the larger issue was what it looks like back there as well. We also noted that it's not kept in a very tidy condition.
Well, this is very interesting, and I'm not gonna drop any, you're gonna know who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna drop names, I don't want no video, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. There's literally a scrap yard 100 feet from me with an acre of scrap metal stacked up as high as I am. Did he get a letter? I went behind your property. There's tires, there's an old truck. There's an old truck with windows and stuff out of it with no tags.
There's no tires there now.
There is, I just was there an hour ago.
Well, there might be the tires that I put
Okay,
on
but there's
vehicles in the
there's
past week.
also vehicles with no tags.
That's
there-
good. That's because it's considered a garage, a business property like that. A garage can
I am
have.
a business property.
You're not
I'm
a,
zoned
you're,
the same as
you're,
business
you are
property.
not a garage.
It doesn't matter if I'm a garage. Is there
There's a
anything that says in
difference.
the town a garage can have junk in their property, but someone else can't?
Yes.
There is. Where can
I'll
I
have
find
to
that?
get it for you. I don't have it right here.
Okay, there's also, the business behind you, there's all kind of, there's a few vehicles with no tags and stuff on. Did they get letters? There's also one up by the 7-Eleven. Did they get letters? It seems like every business can have these kind of things at theirs except for mine.
Mr. Biddle, several residents and property owners within the town have received letters,
Yes,
such
lots
as
of
yours.
letters.
You are not the only one.
That has
I
rec-
personally did go by that property, and I sent it to your attorney,
Yeah, you sure
photographs
did.
that I
You sure
took,
did.
and it is untidy.
According to who? Who gets to decide what their property looks like? You or me?
The town gets to decide.
Okay, well, we'll find out, because we're gonna go to court about it. We're
We-
gonna find
yeah.
out.
Okay.
You know, because, I mean, you can't, I got a scrap yard 100 yards from me, and you're telling me my place looks untidy. That's okay.
The scrap yard has been given.
It's residentially zoned, it should never even been a scrap
It
yard.
has been permitted, and there's documentation
Okay.
all for it. I'm just-
The problem was, and Mr. Steele has lived there for probably 50 years.
Mr. Steele has a 3-foot right-of-way. It's in my title, I know all about it. He has a 3-foot right-of-way. His problem is his car's wider than 3 foot.
Sure.
And he used the other guy's property. I'm sorry that the other guy bought it. I would have bought it if I known it was for sale. It wasn't. That's water under the bridge. He can't get there now because that guy put that fence there.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I have to shift my right-of-way to give him space. I will. I don't have any problem with Mr. Steele. I don't have any problem with doing any of that. I do have a problem with people thinking they can bully me into doing it. And I'll do whatever it takes to fight them.
No, I thought, no, Mr. Steele told me months ago that he had talked to you and it was agreement that would move so he could get his car through there. That's all we asked.
No.
You know,
That is
And that's not obvious. She's telling me my
That is what the code states, that if it's obstructing the safe and legal passage of vehicles, that is what the code says as
okay.
far as the
He has a
alleyway.
3-foot right-of-way. A car is wider than 3 feet. It's right in my deed. He has a 3-foot right-of-way. It was put there in 1850 something when they used horse and buggy.
well,
which
horse and
is
buggy was
fine.
wider than that.
Yeah. He used to get through there for years and years using the property that was just sold, and the man put his fence up, which he has a right to do. I don't have a problem with him. You know, it is what it is. It's his property. He can use it however he wants. Just like you can use yours, I should be able to use mine. And I definitely shouldn't have a double standard.
Okay, we're in the middle of this because we're going by what he said. All he was asking was be able to take his car down there because he's handicapped to get to his garden.
Dude, I completely understand
I
that.
figured, he said he had talked to you guys, it was gonna be taken care of.
I mean, there were
It's-
people here
it's-
complaining about my tagged vehicles in that letter. My vehicles are tagged and insured. Who else gets those letters where they got tagged and insured vehicles on their property?
What was noted was what the section states. It doesn't noted that your vehicles are on there. The section states that.
What exactly did it say in the last paragraph of that?
It says you may also.
You. It doesn't say the section says, it says you. That's me. You just said you didn't say that.
You may. That's what the section states.
I may what?
It's a verbatim of what the
I may
section
what?
states, Mr. Biddle.
I may what?
Mr.
I may
Biddle,
what? What exactly?
If
Clarify for me. I
if
may
your
what?
attorney would like to reach out to me, I am more than happy to discuss it
I'm
with
reaching
him.
out right now. This is what this whole thing's about. You're supposed to come up here and have a public comment. I'm trying to get clarification. I'm asking you, I may what? You can clarify it. You're the one that wrote the letter.
Can we not scream? Can we talk?
Can you please clarify for me?
Nobody wants to be yelled at.
Nobody
Only
wants to be given threatening letters
No,
either.
but let's talk.
only thing I'm saying is that it's a damn shame that people can't live beside each other and be neighbors and protect and also give a little bit of variance to a person that has lived there for 50 years. And I know you've been there, what, 20 years
No,
or
I've
probably?
been 11 years.
11 years. You know, people can't work together and settle things amongst themselves, that they have to come to this.
It is. I
And you
agree.
know,
I agree.
I
You
don't
shouldn't
care
have to
about
send-
going to court because you know whose money you're spending? Your tax dollars going to court. When she's sitting in court all day, it's your tax dollars.
That's all. It didn't ask
And, you
fine
know,
with me.
so
That's
we
fine
just,
with me.
our attorney fees, when it goes up every year, it goes on their tax bills. We have to raise taxes to pay the attorney.
Okay.
So I hope we don't have to do that. I
You
hope
know,
your
you do.
attorney,
I don't like getting threatening letters.
hope your
Certified
attorney
threatening
can
letters.
call our attorney and they can work it out. Okay?
All right.
Okay, any other public comments or concerns here this evening? Bob, you have anything? Okay, we'll go into committee reports then. Sherry?
Okay, on August 6th, I attended the National Night Out event and manned the bounce house. And
We won't
that's not
talk about
fun. That's not fun. My first and only one. On 8/12, I attended the work session meeting. On 8/12, I attended the Carroll County downtown virtual meeting. We discussed shopping passports for the holidays and a virtual map that will be able, that people can access, but I have to get with somebody to see what all we want to put on that or whatever. So they're still working out the details. That's why I haven't brought it up. So on 8/15, I attended the Vietnam War Memorial Traveling Wall meeting that will be showcased for 5 days, October 9th through the 13th, at the New Windsor Carnival Grounds. I will be serving on several committees for that project, and I'm hoping that the town will be a sponsor for the event. Maybe we can use some of the money since we didn't have the band for National Night Out. I don't know how much any of that was, but
They're free.
No,
Oh,
I
they
mean,
were-
I reimbursed them for their U-Haul and gas
Yeah,
last year because.
And I gave them a nice donation.
Yes, I know. I heard all
But
about
anyway, I think it'd be nice for us to be a sponsor if we can, find a way to do that, just to have the town part of that, because that's a pretty neat thing to have coming into our area.
What is that, Sherry? I'm sorry.
It's the Vietnam War Memorial Traveling Wall. And anyone that's interested in becoming a volunteer, they can either let me know or let Tammy at Babylon Vault know. Wreaths Across America will be held Saturday, December 14th, starting at noon. And I decided to get on that committee because none of my family was able to serve, so I felt that I'm representing my family, giving back however I can, so that's why I got involved in that.
That
That's
is
all
going
I
to be a big deal for Carroll County when that happens. It's going to be a very big event for Carroll County. Okay, Brett?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Laura?
All right, so we have 12 tickets, parking tickets that were issued in town that we need to void and have Mandy take them to the state's attorney's office. They are mostly like temporary tags that we couldn't track down, or just other reasons that they needed to be, they were flagged or out-of-state tags. So there are 12, and I make a motion that we void these 12 tickets.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to avoid these 12 tickets.
Send to the state's
To send to the state's attorney's office.
Any questions?
I'm going to excuse myself from,
Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Noes? Motion's carried. Okay.
All right, do you need these, or do you want the original? Okay, thank you, Mandy. And then for the month of August, I obviously was running the National Night Out, which required me to speak to like the regional manager of 7-Eleven. I spoke to Lehigh regarding the donation that was misdirected. I requested the PIA for June 2024 on August 4th. I guess that might, yes, was that July? It must have been July. I picked up food, picked up the bounce house for National Night Out, and National Night Out was August 6th, and I would like to thank 7-Eleven and Raising Cane's for participating in this year's event, and also the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and the Union Bridge Fire Company for their continued support. And I would like to thank Lehigh for donating money for the event, and I especially need to thank my volunteers and the Union Bridge Fire Company with the setup, serving, and breakdown. The fire company really pitched in. A big wind came, and we decided to take it all down quickly, and the fire company helped tremendously with that.
Did you get money from Lehigh? Because I haven't seen it.
Okay,
Okay.
I have not. I was going to ask you, I didn't want to out them. Right, so there is no extra money for donating out, because we haven't even gotten the
Received yet.
donation.
Yeah.
Let's see, I spoke to Joy Bowman, who is the Shriner Court manager, on August 7th. She reached out to me about a resident whose trash was not picked up, and I referred her to Sherry Thompson. The CCRC was canceled on August 8th. I spoke to Dawn and Lita regarding some parking issues. I submitted the food permit request for the Snow Cone event, which is this Friday. I spoke to Joy again on the 19th. She needed a recommendation for a contractor to install a handicap ramp near units 511 and 513. I put her in contact with Donna Wilson, who was going to have a meeting with her and a contractor. I spoke to Joy on the 21st. She received several complaints and concerns regarding the trash notice that was sent to residents, and I referred her to Sherry Thompson as well. And today I took an MML Ethics Online Training class as required for my position on the chapter as secretary. Throughout the month, I spoke to Master Deputy McGinnis, Ellen, and Lita regarding different items. And my final announcement is we have our last snow cone event on Friday, August 30th, from 12 to 2 p.m. Even if it's raining, we did it last month, and it rained, and it was fine. So don't forget, Mr. Bob. You forgot last time. I didn't forget, you forgot. But that's all I have.
Okay.
August 12th work session, I was away. I was on vacation, sorry. August 15th, I attended the Planning and Zoning meeting on the 26th. Here I am. The streets were paved in Union Bridge within the last month. East Thomas to Bellevue, or East Thomas from Bellevue to Leichner Street, East Thomas Buttersburg to Main Street, Buttersburg Alley, East Broadway to Elger Street, from the substation on White Street down to Penrose Street, and 2 different areas on Quaker Hill. Donald Wilson and his crew are making the streets of Union Bridge better and safer for the residents. Thank you very much.
Okay. And
And October 2nd.
Friday, Kenny went up to the community center, and there was no electric in the building whatsoever, and it was rented for Saturday. So this was about 5 o'clock, 5:30 Friday evening. We saw that. We called Potomac Edison, and a wire had shorted out and burnt underground.
Oh, my.
And they came out, they got there, I don't know, like 10:30 Friday night, and it was like 1 o'clock, something like that, Friday, well, early Saturday morning, and had to fix, they had to dig, put a new wire underground. Something that, we knew everybody in the area had electric except for the community center, so they took care of it, and the people were able to rent the center on Saturday, and
And the party was great. I was there.
everything went along as scheduled, but it was kind of a weird thing, you know, we looked everywhere, and there's a big manhole there that says electricity, which we didn't open because it's a manhole cover this big, and we didn't open it, and apparently there's a wire that runs from there underground. And it blew out, I guess, apparently sometime during an electrical storm or something, and they had to put a new wire underground, so it was taken care of. So, something we didn't know about. Okay, I have something just to make people aware of, because I know Carroll County, the volunteer fire service, which we have a paid and volunteer service in the county now. These are some statistics that I know a lot of people in the county aren't aware of. There's still 4 fire companies in the county that are suffering from not having paid personnel from the county. And these are just some numbers. From July the 14th to July the 21st, 1 week, there was 561 responses, total responses, 404 ambulance calls in 1 week, 80 fire calls, and 77 mutual aid calls. The following week, July the 21st to July the 28th, a total of 512 responses. I don't know why they don't make this aware to the people, because every year they come up with budget and say they need money for fire and EMS, and they want to raise taxes a penny. People don't want to raise taxes, but they don't mind calling for services. A total of 401 EMS calls, 44 fire calls, and mutual aid 67. August the 18th to August 11th to August the 18th, 512 total calls, 377 EMS calls, fire calls was 50, and 85 mutual aid. This past week, August the 18th through August the 25th, 528 total calls, 396 EMS calls, 63 fire calls, and 69 mutual aid calls. Total of 2,113 calls, just those 4 weeks. And Union Bridge is one of the companies that is suffering from not having paid people from the county with 3 other companies. And, you know, we do the best we can. We have, that building is rented all the time for activities. the same way with the other 4 companies and the other fire companies in this county. We still have to maintain part of our building. We have to buy our fire trucks, which a fire truck nowadays, you're looking at almost almost $1 million for a fire truck. The ambulances, we don't have to buy anymore because the ambulances are going to be furnished by the county. Our ambulance right now in Union Bridge is still a Union Bridge ambulance because the county has not taken that one over yet. We're still paying for our personnel out of this building. We get a small sum from the county in our budget to help fund that ambulance. But the rest of it is paid for by the people that use that ambulance and the people in this community. And we don't have, some of the companies have paid engine drivers. We have a paid engine driver there that the community is paying for. It's costing Union Bridge Fire Company, and Union Bridge, they're putting probably about, well, they can't keep on going like this the way it's going. It's over like $30,000, $40,000 a month just to keep things going. And so when you talk to your commissioners and everything, you know, it's not just me being a Union Bridge fireman for 50-some years, but there's 4 fire companies in the community that are still suffering. And it was a big thing when the budget came up back in the spring about, you know, raising taxes a couple pennies. Well, I tell you people, these are services that everybody calls for, and you have more and more people calling for ambulance services, fire services than ever before. Just look at these numbers. You know, 550 calls a month. And volunteers are doing most of it still. You have most of the companies, some of the companies have a paid ambulance people, which is 2 people around the clock. We try to keep them over here, but Union Bridge is still paying for them right now. And we have a paid engine driver because we don't have engine drivers. We have people that ride the fire trucks, but they're not qualified to run it. So we're paying for somebody 24/7 over here to drive that fire truck. Get one piece out, and then hopefully we get volunteers to get the other pieces out. So this is very crucial. Just make sure your commissioners know what's going on, and when they open up the budget, and next year you see people going down there to Carroll Arts Center and wherever complaining about taxes going up, they're not going to be affected until it's somebody in their family, one of their family members, and then they're going to say, why in the hell did I have an ambulance there quicker? It's because you don't have the right personnel. So one thing to keep in mind and make sure that they know it down there. That's all I got to say. Thank you. Our next meeting, work session will be September the 9th. Our next council meeting will be, of course, that one we canceled. September 9th work session we canceled. Our next council meeting will be September the 23rd. So, does anybody else have any other announcements here today? You have anything, Dawn?
I just want to say that a notice went out to everyone about trash. And I got a phone call from Shriner Court, where Shriner Court was going to go out and buy toters because they said that the notice said that everybody had to buy toters. That's not what it said. The trash company has informed us before and just recently informed us that if you have a broken trash can or the handle is broken, it's all split up the side. If you have a toter that the bars are broken and the lid's hanging off, they cannot dump that, and they are not going to. So if you have something that's in disrepair, that's not in good shape, that's when you have to replace it. If it's in good shape, you're good to go. Nobody is saying that you have to purchase a toter. You just have to have trash cans and toters that are in good repair. And that's it.
And if they set their trash out in a bag, make sure it's secured.
Yes. And just be considerate of your trash people. I don't know how many phone calls last week talking about maggots being in the trash and they're not sealed. People just throwing crab remains just in the trash can without putting it in a bag. I mean, it's just lack of consideration for your trash haulers.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else for this evening, we need a motion for adjournment, and we'll see you next month.
Make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
We need a second.
A second.
Questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried. Thank you very much. See you next month.